Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening's event here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. The Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series rolls on in to the Northeast for tonight's event at the Dover Motor Speedway. This is one of my favorite tracks. It is a track that often breeds chaos and rivalries alike. It's a 1 mile track. It's wild, it's crazy, and it is hot. Literally, the track temperature is sitting up around 90 degrees at the moment. These drivers have been complaining all practice long about how slick this racetrack is. The hotter the surface gets, the slidier your vehicle will be. Your tires are not going to want to grip as well. They'll be sliding around and you'll be struggling to find some traction. You'll see a lot of drivers getting sideways, the rear end kicking out. Should be a good time. We'll be using this camera quite a bit tonight, and that right there is why. That's a great shot of whoever that was getting into the wall right there. This is the exit of turn 2. We're currently on the back stretch, watching all of our drivers finish up the last bit of practice. Everyone making their way off of turn 2 right here. This is going to be a big trouble spot tonight. So like I said, good camera that we'll want to keep an eye on as we go. But as has become a tradition, let's jump up here with the flag then. We watch these drivers to continue to circle around the track. As has become a tradition, we've got some power rankings to go over. And this week's power rankings has a little bit of some shuffling around. Greg Mitchell, of course, stays on top of the board. Greg's our points leader so far, 7 races down into this season. He didn't make last week in Chicagoland, wasn't out there on track, but his performances otherwise have been good enough. Greg sits on the top spot until someone's able to dethrone him. Tanner Marr, last week's winner in Chicagoland, jumps up to P2 with a fantastic performance, gets his first win of the season. Really silences a lot of the doubters out there that driver number 4 had. Cody Gibson falls down a spot. Cody Gibson had race-winning speed. It just fell apart with an incident late in the race. He got loose, spun out, and involved in a wreck. Gary Bowman, Andrew Caldwell, 2 very solid, very consistent drivers, both, you know, throughout their cyber career, but also this season as well. Both of those 2 are going to stay 4th and 5th. Dustin Ping, a lot of speed, up to 6th place on the power rankings. Dustin struggling in points a little bit. He's had a very roller coaster up and down season. Dustin is a very quick driver, somebody who you can always expect to go out there and compete, and we'll see if tonight's a good night for Dustin or not. But Chris Mackey in 7th had a runner-up finish last week, followed his teammate Tanner Marr across the line. That's Chris Mackey's best career finish in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, one of our rookies this season, and up to P7 on the power rankings, jumping ahead of Rick Thompson, who fell a handful of spots after Chicagoland just fell apart in the second half of the race. Rick was fast in the first half. It fell apart late, and that brings us to 9th and 10th. Lee Campbell, the quiet power rankings driver of the season so far. He's been just outside or just inside the power rankings. It seems like every week he's always on that bubble, and this week he's 9th. So shout out to Lee Campbell. Jared Anderson, another rookie in the league, makes his first appearance on the power rankings. I was excited, to put Jared on the power rankings for the first time. Driver number 5 in that Target truck. You can't miss it. I'm excited to see what happens at Dover this evening. We can find out what happens to those power rankings moving forward. That's been a fun column for me to do as we have gone week in and week out this season. Brand new thing in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. That's been a lot of fun to keep up with. Let's throw a race info up for this evening. Why don't we? I need to hide that one right there. Here we go. Race number 8 out of our 23 race season here in the 2025 season 2 of the Cyber Thunder Racing League. We're at the Dover Motor Speedway. As I mentioned before, the broadcast team usually consists of myself and Tom Richter, of course, but one of these trucks out there on track is my good friend Tom Richter, and we'll cover that in a little bit. This is going to be Tom's first start of the season, jumping behind the wheel, leaving me up here alone, and that means he can't stop me from saying whatever I want to say. But in all seriousness, we've got Dover today, followed by Atlanta Super Speedway coming up next week. That's going to be another drafting race. Excited to see how that one plays out with this field of drivers. We've got Kansas on the 28th of October. I'll be jumping back behind the wheel for that race on October 28th. I'll be sticking Tom up in the booth while I go and try and get a win out there in these trucks. Watkins Glen is on November the 4th. That's our next 3 races coming up after Dover, things that we can look forward to. But as I hinted at just a little bit earlier, let's see if Tom is on track right now. He is not. Tom is not on track, hiding from the cameras. Not surprised. He doesn't want to see what I'd have to say. Actually, just for Tom, I have something pulled up right here. The last time the Cyber Thunder Racing League took a trip out here to Dover Motor Speedway, there was a pretty notorious incident. And here's a picture of that incident right here. This has become a storied tale, if you will. A good fun laugh around the league, among all the guys and gals here. From myself and Tom, late last season in 2025-1, we were here at Dover Motor Speedway. Tom and I were battling up front for the lead, and we went to make a pit stop under green flag conditions. I tried to make it without telling him I was going to make it, and he tried to come into the pits. He was the car ahead of me. He tried to come into the pits and cover me off, and got in a little too hot and caused this little incident right here. So, good fun times. I'm sure Tom's going to be watching this back, or maybe even listening live. He knows I had to show that on the broadcast at least once. So that's why Tom chose Dover Motor Speedway as the track he was going to make a start in this season. Whether or not he makes a second one remains to be seen, but Tom has a little bit of redemption to aim for here tonight at the Dover Motor Speedway. So we'll see if Tom can do that. We'll see if that 34 truck makes his way up towards the front. But regardless of what's going on with Tom, what's going on with myself, what's going on track with these drivers is that we've got a very slick track. These drivers are dealing with temperatures much higher than anyone was anticipating. That's making these trucks handle different than they were anticipating. And the vibe that I get from talking with a bunch of these drivers throughout practice is that we're going to be looking at a race where the raw speed a driver has might not be the defining factor, but rather it's going to be how you can manage a long run, how you can manage your tires, how you can manage tricky track conditions, and those same tricky conditions in traffic. All of these other factors that, of course, make a well-rounded driver will be coming into play tonight. So interesting things to keep an eye on. Maybe even a little bit of fuel could come into the picture as well. You never know. I think we've got a whole lot of fun things to keep our eye on, a whole lot to follow along with this evening here in Dover. Practice is getting ready to come to an end as these drivers are wrecking down the front stretch. Let's go ahead and send a trackside for our pre-race ceremonies before qualifying begins. All right, we're back just in time for qualifying to begin, and you might notice that it looks a lot darker. That's because we've got some cloud cover over the speedway for the start of qualifying right here. We're going to see Corey Sherman in the 3 Toyota Tundra hit a quick reset back on a pit road, but the clouds have rolled in, and that really hot track that all these drivers were just testing on, just getting some practice laps on, is going to be quite a bit different for these qualifying runs. We're going to keep an eye, and we're going to see what everyone can do right here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty significant shuffling of the order from the practice times to the qualifying times, given the differing track conditions here. We'll see what Corey can do down into turn 1 for lap number 1. Now, both laps are going to be important, are going to count, but lap number 2 is usually the money lap. That's usually where all the money is going to be won. Through 3 and 4 we go. Corey Sherman in that bright green and black Toyota Tundra, going to bring it across the line for the end of the first lap and see what he can do on the second. Corey currently sits P6 on the board. Through 1 lap, as you can see, everyone's times shuffling on in. Greg Mitchell top of the board at the moment. We'll stay on with Corey as he completes his run right here. Cody Gibson jumps up to the top of the board. Through 3 and 4, the sun's starting to peek through. Corey gets that truck right down on the bottom and across the line. It's a solid run to the line for Corey Sherman. He's going to stay in P12, as it looks like Tom Richter sits on top of the board in lap 1. Looks like he might have got loose right there on the backstretch of turn 2. Seems to be all over the place. But I don't know if lap 2 is going to be better for Tom as the board continues to shuffle around just a little bit. We'll see who else is out there trying to make a run. We got Andy Cork, driver of the 41, on lap number 2 right here, going for his money lap. We'll see what Andy can do through turns 3 and 4 in that lovely white and blue Toyota Tundra that he's always running. Across the line, Andy's going to go P20 with that time right there. We've got Andrew Caldwell, driver of the 46 Toyota Tundra, off of turn 4 for his final lap and across the line. Currently P8, and with that time, he's going to jump P7. 1 more spot. We got Dustin Ping, driver of the 81, going to get loose. That's his second lap right there. Dustin Ping is going to be stuck in P24 at the moment, as we've got Tanner Marr on track right here. Tanner's going to be coming around to his first lap off of turn 4 across the line. Here's where it counts. Currently on the board, Cody Gibson, Eric Anderson, your top 2, your front row provisionally. Tanner Marr through turns 1 and 2. Not feeling good about tonight's race. Tanner likes this track, wasn't liking the conditions. We'll see what driver number 4 can do. Our most recent winner here in the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. Off of turn number 4 for driver number 4. First lap on the board puts Tanner P12. And now we go through turns 1 and 2 for the hot lap here. We'll see if Tanner can pick up some pace. It's a green first half of the lap. That means it's a PB. Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time for Tanner Marr. And across the line we go. What's it going to be for our most recent winner? It's going to be P9 for Tanner. Great run right there. We got driver number 60 on the track, Lee Campbell, who cracked into the power rankings after Chicago with a solid run off of turn 4. This is going to be the end of lap 1 for Lee. And that time is going to be good enough for P26. We'll see what Lee can do on the second attempt right here. Down the backstretch we go. Get a little loose. No harm, no foul. And through 3 and 4 for the final time. Going to take that Ford F-150 all the way up the banking of the track and across the line for Mr. Campbell. That time is going to rocket Lee all the way on up to P13. And there are no other drivers on the track at the moment, so it looks as though the leaderboard may stay as it stands with Mr. Gibson on the provisional pole. I'll keep an eye out for if any other drivers jump down on track, but by the looks of it, I think all of our drivers have made their attempts. Qualifying coming to a close in about 10 seconds here, and we have our starting order. All right. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Dover Motor Speedway, race number 8 out of 23 here in the 2025-2 season for the Cyber Thunder Racing League Tuesday Night Thunder Series. A lot of thunder in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. Starting on the pole for, I don't even know how many times it's been this season, but you know him, you love him. It's Cody Gibson, driver of the #1 Flamin' Hot Cheetos truck for 5 Kings Motorsports. Joining Cody Gibson on the front row is going to be Eric Anderson, our winner in Daytona for race #1, driver of the 43. On row number 2, it's going to be Tom Richter and Greg Mitchell. 3rd and 4th. Shout out to Tom, my broadcasting co-host, usually with the P3. Matt Semple, Brad Holmes starting 5th and 6th. Andrew Caldwell and hit the wrong button there. Pardon me on that one. Andrew Caldwell and Leroy Koblenz going to be 7th and 8th. We've got Tanner Marr, Mike Stiverson rounding out the top 10. As we go further down, Nathan Dufton, Chris Mackey, 11th and 12th, followed by Lee Campbell, Larry Bell, Jason Raymond rounds out the top 15. Corey Sherman in the 3 truck going to be starting P16. Gary Bowman and Brad Collins, 17th and 18th, rounding out row number 10. Going to be Theodore Todorov and Jaden Wicks. 21st, Ed Jurgen, Jackie Brannon, a.k.a. Chris Letts in 22nd. Andy Cork and Philip Van Vliet. Going to be 23rd and 24th. Amanda Sherman, Rick Thompson, Dustin Ping, Casey Tomlinson through 28th. We've got Dave Gainforth, Jared Anderson starting P30. Carl Cantonis is P31. Dwayne Young, P32. Carter Lawson, P33. And shotgun on the field, P34, Mr. Fred Thompson in the 79. All right. That grid is quite a vocal workout when you don't have a co-host, I tell you what. But the drivers are rolling. They are on track. Pace car is leading them. We'll put our ticker up on the left side of the screen. And we'll get ready for 200 laps of action here in the Dover Motor Speedway. Stage 1 ends at lap 52.52. That's the one we're looking for. You can see it up on the top left of your screen on the timing tower, of course. We got Kathy Richter in chat rooting on Tom. As always, you'll love to see it. If you're out there supporting a driver or multiple drivers, let me know who you're supporting, who you're rooting on, and who you want to show some love to this evening. That pace car is going to get ready to pull off, and it's going to be Cody Gibson and Eric Anderson, the 1 and the 43, going to lead us to green for the first time here this evening. Dover Motor Speedway, race number 8 of the season is green. All right, everyone's getting just settled in a little bit after lap number 1. Cody Gibson, driver of the one's going to be in control of the field. We got a little bit of a battle back here for P3. Tom Richter holding on ahead of teammate Greg Mitchell in P4. Under pressure from Matt Semple just a little bit further back. Driver of the 16 is going to look to the inside, think twice about it. A lot of these drivers are probably deciding that they just want to get in line. They just want to ride, feel out the track, feel out their tires, see what's going on, see what they need to consider as we get further on into the race. We got some battles a little further back. Oh, issues for Theodore Todorov, driver of the 33, with significant damage on the front left of that Ford F-150. You do not want to see that for driver 33 at the moment. Theodore is having a very hard time controlling that truck at the moment. You can see how all over the place he is, and let's see if we can't figure out what happened here for Theodore Todorov. Oh, issues as well for Casey Tomlinson. We are still under green. Let's see if we can figure out what happened with Theodore right here. Get another camera angle. This is coming out of turn number 2. Gonna get sideways, try to correct it, overcorrect it, right into the wall we go for Mr. Todorov. Hate to see that one. That is really, really unfortunate for Theodore, but back up front we go. with our race leaders. It's Cody Gibson in control of this race. Eric Anderson, Tom Richter, but Matt Semple has moved up a position as Greg Mitchell has fallen 2, make it 3 spots now for driver 55. Now, I've raced with Greg a fair bit. It's fair to say that Greg knows what he's doing when it comes to managing tires, and Greg's the type of driver who's not afraid to give up positions on the early part of a run. It does depend on who he's racing, but more often than not, driver 55 is going to be giving up some positions. He'll let everyone get ahead of him, and he'll be saving those tires, getting them into a sweet spot, and he'll come back and take those positions back over on the tail end of a run. So keep an eye on driver 55 for just that. We got Mike Stiverson putting some pressure on Tanner Marr. Oh, caution is out. Yellow flag is out. Issues for... who is that jumping down the border? That's, or the order, excuse me. Lee Campbell, driver number 60, having some issues right here. Let's see if we can't determine what happened with Mr. Campbell. Take a different approach right here. Oh, gets hooked by the 17 on corner entry. Turn back around. It looked like that left front fender was going to get a lot of damage, but it looks like it didn't turn out as bad as it momentarily did. We just saw a flash of that fender pop off, but it looks like it's a-okay. I would love to see if we can get a slowed down view of this. Let's go to Chris Mackey and watch the onboard right here. Maybe speed it up. This is onboard. The 17 just kind of clips the left rear of the 60. Those drivers coming together into turn 1 right there. Fortunately, Lee doesn't collect anyone else in his spin right there. And it's just a 1-car incident, but unfortunate. If you are driver number 60, Lee Campbell, that's going to be our first caution of the evening. That does mean that all of these drivers are safe to make it to the end of stage 1. If it were to run green, fuel was potentially going to come into play, but all it was going to take was a single caution, a couple extra pace laps, and that should be good to go on fuel. No fuel concerns to the end of stage 1. And with that, Cody Gibson continues to control this race. Eric Anderson runs P2. Matt Semple, P3, up 2 positions from where he started. Speaking of moving up positions, our biggest mover of the race, it's actually a tie for biggest mover. We got Dwayne Young, driver of the 48, up 10 positions from where he started, as is Carter Lawson in the 98. We do have some pit stops to manage, though. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. We've got some pit stops from the likes of Philip Van Vliet in the 89, Jared Anderson, Fred Thompson, Andy Cork, Dustin Ping, Chris Letts, Amanda Sherman, Casey Tomlinson getting some damage fixed, Lee Campbell, Theodore Todorov also getting some damage fixed. All those drivers that I just listed that came down, those were all fuel-only pit stops based on the time on pit road. All fuel-only, with the exception of those drivers with damage, of course, Tomlinson, Campbell, Todorov. We'll see if the pace car lights cut out this time around, and if we're going to rack these drivers back up 2 by 2 all the way back. Looks like that is indeed going to be the case. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to get ready to re-stack and re-rack. Or is it re-rack and restack? I'm not entirely sure, but Cody Gibson is sure that he wants the bottom line for this restart going to be sticking driver 43 on the outside. Graybeard Motorsports own Eric Anderson. Graybeard Racing? I think it's racing. Forgive me, Graybeard guys. That team is, they've been coming on big time this season. Shout out to Graybeard, of course. Acquiring some new talent. Getting a victory in the first race of the season. That's been really cool to see. See the whole field getting bunched right back up right here. Dover is a fantastic track for racing action. We've got 34 drivers out there this evening, and you can see them just filling up the backstretch right here. It's the perfect size track, if you ask me. I think a 1 mile track is the perfect distance for a NASCAR oval. Yes, even better than a half mile, even better than a quarter mile. I think 1 mile is the perfect track size. That's neither here nor there. You're not here for my opinions. Here we go. Pace car down onto pit road into the I don't think it's a Geico restart zone, the Echo Park restart zone. And Cody Gibson on the loud pedal. Going to be bringing Matt Semple with him on the inside. Great restart for driver number 16. Going to move all the way on up to P2 with that one and clear. Going to try and bring teammate Brad Holmes along with him. That's double-double in that Ford F-150. And Brad Holmes might be looking for more. Gets to the inside of Matt Semple, and now these two are ahead of driver 43. Eric Anderson might not be done losing positions yet. However, under pressure from Andrew Caldwell in the 46. Haven't said Caldwell's name yet in this event. Running in P5, looking for P4 as those other drivers get single filed out. It's going to settle back in line just a little bit and bide his time just a little further. We see a little further back, we got a battle. Corey Sherman to the inside of Nathan Dufton in the 47 off of turn 4. This is going to be a battle for P13 as we run. Most drivers single filed out, but there's the occasional battle going on right here. We'll watch these two come out of turn number 2. They touch. They keep it going, though. Corey Sherman leaning on the left side of the 47. Looked like Corey washed up the track, got real tight right there. Gets into the 47. He is going to get the spot, though. Nathan Dufton is going to elect not to force the issue right here. As we see Jaden Wicks making a move further back on Rick Thompson. This being a battle for P17. Off of turn 2 we go. Rick Thompson going to hold it with the advantage right there. Up the high side, Carl Cantonis, newcomer to the Cyber Thunder Racing League, making his second career start, working over Larry Bell in the 05. And there's a lot of this action all throughout the track, I tell you what. A lot of that side-by-side action. Back up front, though, can't miss all the action. We've got Cody Gibson controlling this race, but Brad Holmes, Mr. Double-Double himself in the 00, that Ford F-150 up to P2 and trying to chase down our race leader as we work, make it lap 18 out of 200, 18, or 17, excuse me, I guess that ticked over early. 17 out of 52 for stage 1. Brad Holmes chasing down our race leader, Cody Gibson. About a 5-truck breakaway before you get to Greg Mitchell, who's already back up to P6 after having let a good number of drivers pass in the early stages of this race. Greg's going to be leading the second pack right here, which contains, it gets a little shaky back there, but we'll call it about 6 trucks. Tom Richter, teammate just behind, my usual co-host, running real solid early on in the race, ahead of Tanner Marr, last week's winner. Mike Stiverson had a good turnaround to his season in the last week or two, getting going the right way. Switched that paint scheme away from the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network paint scheme to the old traditional Home Depot colors for that 20, and it's done Mike pretty good, which is unfortunate for us here in the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network that our paint scheme was bad luck as per Mr. Stiverson, but can't hate him too much for the I can't think of the word for the, you know, when you're superstitious, that's the word. Caution's out. Yellow flag yet again. Issues for Brad Collins, driver of the 67. By the looks of it, parked on the track in the banking of turns 3 and 4. Gonna be getting that truck going once again. Let's see what we can't find out about the incident here for driver of the 67. Ooh, contact with the 48, or the other way around. Sends the 67 up into the wall. Another single car incident. Yeah, good heads-up driving by everyone to make their way through. That was a tricky one. It looks like there was also issues for Casey Tomlinson. We'll come back to that in just a second. But here with Brad Collins and Dwayne Young, we'll keep it slow-mo right here. Dwayne comes down to the inside. Brad Collins is there in the middle line. I'm not going to call that one way or the other. That could be driver 48 coming in a little too high. That could be the 67 too low. It could be a little bit of both. I'm not the one who has to make that call, fortunately, but another incident kind of like what we saw entering turn 1 that sent Lee Campbell around. Let's see what happened with Casey Tomlinson here. Oh, Casey Tomlinson with some significant issues? Oh, it looks like this had already begun. Okay. Let's see. Apologies for all the jumping around. We might have to rewind the tape right here. We might have to get a little weird with our camera work. Okay. So Casey Tomlinson coming off of turn 4. Looks like he gets loose. Actually, you know what? I tell you what, it doesn't look like there was a lick of wheel input. Even now, there's not a lick of wheel input. I tell you what, we're still under caution. Let's go ahead and let's flip back here. And I tell you what, we'll even go further back here. I want to get an onboard shot with Casey Tomlinson. We're already sliding a little bit. Okay. He is trying to move the wheel. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a wheel disconnect. Looked like it could have been a wheel disconnect. I'm not sure what the deal with Mr. Tomlinson. Unfortunate regardless. Came up in front of the field. It looks like everyone made it around, though it was a little sketchy. Those are our incidents for the second caution. That was a weird one, folks. We had a couple different incidents to watch right there, but you didn't miss a thing. We were under caution the whole time. All of our race leaders stayed out, just paced around a little bit, and we jump back up to see the lights are out on the pace car. Driver number 1, Cody Gibson, still in control of this race. Going to be putting double-double on the outside. That's Brad Holmes in the 00. We got Matt Semple, driver of the 16, Eric Anderson. Driver of that Break Blue 43, that's row 2. Row 3, Andrew Caldwell, Greg Mitchell. That'll be your top 6 as we get ready to restart. Got some support for driver 02, Jaden Wicks. Out in the chat, Jaden Wicks currently P18. Early on in this race, going to be starting on the outside row. A little further back, and that's silver and black. Beautiful, beautiful truck back there. Here we go, pace car's off. A little bit of cloud cover rolling in. Make the track a little dark, a little cooler. Cody Gibson going to hit that loud pedal. Green flag's out. Away we go. Decent restart for Brad Holmes on the outside. Going to be able to hold on to P2 as we make our way through the gears. Off of turn 2 we go. Eric Anderson fighting Andrew Caldwell for P4. And it looks like we got a battle for the race lead. Brad Holmes to the inside of Cody Gibson. Can he get there? Going to use that side draft down the front stretch. Cody Gibson in that preferred outside lane. Is it going to work out? Will Brad Holmes force him up the track? Get those elbows out. Gets a little loose on the inside. They're going to keep it side by side for now, though. Entering turn 3, going to keep Cody Gibson up in that higher line. Going to try and hug that bottom, but it's going to swing around on corner exit right here. Cody Gibson just brushes the wall. Uses it to his advantage, holds on to the race lead, does driver number 1. Brad Holmes with a valiant effort, going to have to line him back up to have another go soon. We go a little bit further back. We've got a big kerfuffle right here, starting with the likes of Leroy Koblenz in the 42, all the way on the back for about half the field's worth of drivers right here. We're currently watching Rick Thompson and Chris Mackey, driver 76 on the outside, 17 on the inside. We got Ed Jurgen in this mix, Gary Bowman, a couple top 10 drivers in points, top 5 even. Ed Jurgen sitting in 6th, I suppose, in the point standings, of course. Drivers with a lot to race for this season. Gotta get out of this hornet's nest, gotta get making your way kind of closer to the front, out of the danger zone. We got Jaden Wicks in the 02, closing in on this battle right here, looking to find a way through, find a gap. But it's not happening at the moment. Drivers are going to continue to be side by side, all making their way through. A little further back, we got another kerfuffle back here. This is for P27. Amanda Sherman in the War Wagon, driver of the 88, along with the 41 of Andy Cork and the 48 of Dwayne Young, finds himself a little further back after that earlier caution. Dwayne almost into the wall right there is driver 48. Gonna bring it back down and keep it going. Wow, these 3 back here are having the craziest battle on track right now. I tell you what, it might not be for the race lead or the top 10 or the top 20, but Amanda Sherman, Dwayne Young, Andy Cork, they'll give us all the entertainment we need this evening, I tell you what. A little further ahead, we got another battle. Carter Lawson in the 98, along with Chris Letts in the 65, going toe-to-toe. That bright purple truck with that bright green number color. Classic Carter Lawson, can't miss it. Sticks out like a sore thumb. Gotta love it. Up front, it's starting to heat up just a little bit. Not for the lead, but definitely inside the top 5 as Andrew Caldwell looks to put the pressure on Eric Anderson for 4, as it looks like, oh, issues for Brad Holmes, double-double with the lap car of Fred Thompson in the 79. Fred Thompson nowhere to go. The slower lap down vehicle still nowhere to go, trying to stay out of the way. Contact with multiple race leaders for Fred Thompson, unfortunately. Looks like finally finds the outside, but has a lot of the field still to come by right here for the 79. Keeps it up towards the wall. Looks like might be okay. Gary Bowman has to check on the brakes just a little bit right here. Looks like everyone's going to get through. A lot of close calls. Everyone keeps it going. Cody Gibson, the lucky driver on that end. The race leader extends his gap by 2 seconds ahead of new second place driver Matt Semple in the 16. Eric Anderson in third, under pressure from Greg Mitchell in the 55. Tries to get a nose in, maybe even getting the 43 loose right there. That's close enough to affect the air on the back of that Ford F-150. We'll see what Greg decides to do here. He's going to go for the outside line, arc it down, get a big run of momentum down the front stretch right here. Will driver 55, let's hop on board. Down into turn 1 we go. Greg Mitchell going to make it work right around driver 43. That was a phenomenal move from a seasoned veteran. Can we call Greg a seasoned veteran of the Cyber Thunder Racing League? I think we can at this point. Greg's got, I think, 14 wins, 14 career wins. I think he's been around long enough to call him a seasoned veteran. Either way, Greg knows what he's doing. Points leader, most wins this season. That was a great move right there. He's going to be setting up Matt Semple, driver of the 16. This tells me that it's go time for Greg. He's decided that he's not going to lay back on his tires anymore. And it's time to make his way up towards race leader Cody Gibson. He's going to make easy work of maybe both of these drivers. Made easy work of Eric. Little harder time with Matt Semple, but he does get the job done on the inside right there. And now Greg Mitchell free to chase down the race leader. We'll keep tabs on that one. A little further back, we've got Andrew Caldwell looking to make his way around Brad Holmes. These two have history on the racetrack. Not recent, but they do have history nonetheless. Andrew Caldwell is going to get the job done, P5. And that puts Tom Richter in the catbird seat here to get around double-double. Brad Holmes really struggling ever since he lost P2 after that incident with Fred Thompson. Seems to be struggling to find that rhythm again. Tom Richter in the 34. Going to be looking to clear right here. Can't quite get that nose ahead, but Brad's going to hit the wall. It's going to open the door for Tom to maybe get a good run into the corner. Might be able to clear right here. Yes, indeed. That's going to be Tom up to P6. A little further back, when you see these drivers bouncing off of each other, that's Mike Stiverson in the bright orange 20, Corey Sherman in that black and green 3. Two staple names here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Going at it, throwing elbows. Looks like Corey Sherman's going to come out on top in this instance. A little further back, Ed Jurgen, driver of the 92, climbing up the spots. He's up 9 positions from where he started this evening's race. Rick Thompson, who he's battling, is up 13 positions from where he started this evening's race. So these two drivers going somewhere very quick, trying to make their way on up there as we close in on the end of stage 1. 13 laps to go for stage 1. Nathan Dufton almost loses it. These drivers are all over the racetrack right now. This is some phenomenal stuff as we've got a battle continuing here. This is going to be for P3. We're 2x2. Eric Anderson putting pressure on Matt Semple. Andrew Caldwell, Tom Richter all up in here as well. 2x2 for P3 off of turn 4 and to the line. We're 3 rows deep at 2x2 just about back there. Matt Semple with the advantage at the moment, but Eric Anderson, Andrew Caldwell not going away. Will Matt Semple be able to hold on to it? Andrew Caldwell going to try and get clear of that 43. He's got the entire width of the racetrack to work with now. What can Caldwell do with Matt Semple here coming off of turn 4? Gets into the wall. Ooh, that's not going to be what you want to see. Corey Sherman creeping into the picture here as well. Going to try and work over Tom. Gets real loose. You can see that truck sideways just about all the way through the corner right there. Up front, Cody Gibson is clear by 3 seconds over Greg Mitchell. who is clear by 3 seconds over third place Matt Semple. That's where this battle right here begins. So our top two, both on an island as we run. This is the most intense battle to keep an eye on right now. Andrew Caldwell looking for P3 to the inside of Matt Semple in the 16. Down into turns 3 and 4 we go. Will it be good this time for Caldwell? Yes, it will for Caldwell in the 46. Oh, we get a good shot right there. Matt Semple takes out the 43 and the 3 issues all around for multiple drivers here up towards the front in the battle for P3. Oh my goodness. All right, let's rewind it right here. We're gonna want to take a look at where are we at here? Eric Anderson and the 16 truck of Matt Semple. We'll keep it in slow down speed. Matt Semple gets real tight all the way up into the wall. Eric Anderson also gets extremely tight. Both of those drivers were going into the wall regardless of each other. And they clip Corey Sherman. Corey Sherman was running very low on the racetrack, potentially to try and avoid whatever's going on. Ends up getting involved because of how low he was running. Those drivers fly back out onto the track. And that is extremely unfortunate for Mr. Sherman, who has not had any good luck this season. We'll watch it in full speed. Corey Sherman got loose. That's why he was down there. And then he gets clipped by those two having their incident. You could see Corey trying to turn it out of traffic. He's doing everything he can, but that truck won't turn. It's broken. It is extremely broken right there. I would love to get a view right here from on board driver 16. This is Matt Semple. You could see how much he was fighting that wheel coming off of the corner right there. Nothing he could really do. Wow. That is a very, very unexpected, very unfortunate incident for a handful of our race leaders right there. A handful of our contenders. Matt Semple, Eric Anderson having a phenomenal night through the first stage of this evening's race. Corey Sherman was starting to come alive, make up some positions. He looked quick. All three of those drivers having their nights affected in various ways. I think Corey Sherman got the worst of it. Looks like Matt Semple, Eric Anderson. They are on pit road to get some damage fixed. Jared Anderson on pit road. Brad Holmes on pit road. Looks like those two took 4 tires. 4 tires for Dwayne Young as well on pit road. We've got some potentially fuel-only stops by Dave Gainforth, Andy Cork, Amanda Sherman. A little further back there as well. Handful of drivers getting damage fixed. The likes of Anderson, Semple, Collins, Campbell, Sherman. It's like Chris Mackey had a pretty long pit stop, getting some damage fixed as well. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to get ready to restack and re-rack. Get this show back on the road. We're going to restart this one on lap 47 out of 52. The stage designation for stage number 1 is lap 47. So what that means is that if a caution comes out in between the stage designation and the stage end, that will become the new stage end. The stage designation is the lap in which we take the green flag right here. That's just how it's worked out. So as soon as we go green, the next yellow ends the stage, whether it's the intended stage end at 52 or if it's a caution that comes earlier. The next yellow ends the stage. And with that, pace car is going to get ready to pull on in. Cody Gibson in control of this race on the inside. Greg Mitchell on the front row for the first time this evening. Going to be restarting P2. Andrew Caldwell, Tom Richter. That's row 2. As we hit the restart zone, Cody Gibson dives it down towards the bottom, hits that loud pedal. A little bit of wheel spin for multiple drivers in the field right here. Bit of a stack up further back. And all of the drivers have to get it sorted and figured out. Looks like everyone does, but we're 3 wide further back. Keep an eye on the chaos that is ensuing at the moment as everyone makes their way up through the gears. Looks like everyone keeps it going. No yellow, and we are in the clear. Up front, Andrew Caldwell has overtaken Greg Mitchell with a good restart right there. Andrew Caldwell up to P2, looking to chase down Cody Gibson for the stage win. Cody Gibson's been in clean air all night so far. His tires should be in good shape. I'd be surprised if anyone can go and take this one away from Cody Gibson as we come off of turn 4. It's going to be 3 laps to go for stage number 1. All of our drivers are single filed out up towards the front at the moment. We'll keep our eyes on the battle for stage points as our drivers circulate around. Closest battle in the top 10. They're all about even. Every single battle in the top 10 is about the same distance, to be honest, so we'll see if anyone can get a run going here as we're down to 2 laps to go in stage 1 at the moment. Battle just on the fringes, just outside the top 10. We got something a little closer up. Rick Thompson trying to work over Ed Jurgen for P7. Side-by-side momentarily. It's not going to last. Here comes Mike Stiverson to the inside. Mike Stiverson in the 20 Home Depot Toyota Tundra going to try and make the run on driver 76. He's going to get tight and then loose. Keeps it going. No harm, no foul. Everyone's all good up here. Still going at each other. Mike's still looking for that inside line. Rick's still not giving it. A little further up, Andrew Caldwell's starting to feel the pressure from Greg Mitchell just behind. Unable to really close in on driver number 1. And across the line for stage number 1, Cody Gibson holds on. We're waiting for 10th place to cross the line. And there it is. Stage 1 reaches its conclusion. And it's going to be Cody Gibson, driver that flaming hot Cheetos Chevrolet Silverado right there, going to get another stage win on the season, winning stage 1 here in Dover. Great run from driver number 1, Cody Gibson. See if we can switch this over to position and location. Always love to shout out where these drivers are from. Colorado Springs in Mr. Gibson's case. Andrew Caldwell comes home in P2, scoring P2 stage points. Greg Mitchell, 3rd place stage points with that right there. Jason Raymond, driver of the 49, up 11 positions in P4. Tom Richter, my usual co-host, going to be finishing in P5 for stage 1. Tanner Marr, P6 for stage 1. Ed Jurgen, P7. Rick Thompson, P8. Mike Stiverson, P9. And rounding out the top 10 on the stage points board, it's going to be driver 89, Philip Van Vliet. Unofficially official, there's your stage points at the conclusion of stage 1. And now all of our drivers pull those trucks down on the pit road. For the most part, all of our race leaders at the very least. Cody Gibson, Andrew Caldwell, going to lead the field around this very slow pit road. It's a very narrow pit road, and it's a very slow pit road. We can see Dwayne Young having pit with one of the recent cautions, as did Brad Holmes. Going to jump up ahead of the field, as did Chris Mackey, as did Jared Anderson. These drivers are all going to stay out on track. That's going to be 4 drivers who stayed out with slightly older tires, but for the most part fairly new. Those are the ones to keep an eye on at the restart. Here we go then. Race off of pit road. Cody Gibson's going to retain that lead. Andrew Caldwell, Greg Mitchell, Tom Richter, Jason Raymond, Tanner Marr, Ed Jurgen, Rick Thompson, Mike Stiverson, Philip Van Vliet, Gary Bowman, Leroy Koblenz, Dustin Ping, Nathan Dufton. Looks like Carter Lawson added, Jaden Wicks, Andy Cork, and the rest all making their way on through. That's going to be more or less the race off of pit road, and we'll see how this all shakes up with those 4 drivers that stayed out. I would assume they're going to remain on the track right here, and it wasn't a mistake by any of these 4. We'll get ready to re-rack them. That's 4 drivers who last pit on lap 45. 4-5. That's the last lap in which the top 4 were on pit road for fuel and tires. Dwayne Young, Brad Holmes, Chris Mackey, Jared Anderson. 45 compared to the rest of the field who pit on lap 54. That's a 9-lap difference, though keep in mind a handful of those laps were under caution. So that's not 9 green flag laps, otherwise it'd be a much different story. That's 9 laps with a combination of green and yellow flag laps. That means that these 4 drivers pulled a pretty good strategy right here, flipping the stage. Their tires are going to be a little worse off, but they've given themselves track position. They've got clean air in front of them. They're out of the hornet's nest, and sometimes that's all you need. That'll make the biggest difference. Lights are on the pace car, and we're double filed up all throughout the field. In control of this race for the first time this evening, it's driver 48, Dwayne Young, in that Lowe's Chevrolet Silverado, alongside double Brad Holmes of the 00 truck. We saw Brad contending for the lead a little bit earlier on, had some issues, so decided to flip the stage to get back into the track position. Brad going off sequence. Chris Mackey, Jared Anderson, 2 rookies to the Cyber Thunder Racing League, both on the power rankings coming into Dover, both looking to continue their streaks of momentum. Cody Gibson, who controlled stage 1, restarts P5. Into the restart zone we go. Green flag is out for Dwayne Young, driver of the 48, who gets a great launch right there. A little wiggle out of the rear end, but no harm, no foul. Gonna lead us down into turns 1 and 2. All right, it's shaken out. Brad Holmes in the lead and running away with it, but Cody Gibson, who had control of this race in stage 1, going to be taking P2 away from Dwayne Young. Cody Gibson on a charge to retake the lead, wants to get back into that clean air, and we'll see if Cody Gibson can do just that. A little further back, Andrew Caldwell going to hit the wall in the beginning of the Hornet's Nest, I would say. This is a battle for P6. Greg Mitchell holding on ahead of Andrew Caldwell and Jason Raymond in the 49. Couple other drivers hitting the wall a little further back. Greg Mitchell to the inside of Jared Anderson. Get a good shot of this from the rooftop of the 46. That's Andrew Caldwell we're on board with at the moment. Look to the inside of Jared Anderson in the 5. Got a couple battles up ahead. This was a great shot of the banks of Dover Motor Speedway. We ride along with Andrew Caldwell up front. You can see it. Cody Gibson to the inside of Brad Holmes. He's going to take over the lead pretty easy with those new tires. And that's Cody Gibson back in control of this race. As these guys continue battling out, Greg Mitchell has to check up from near contact with Dwayne Young in the 48. Trying to position his truck anywhere he can. And it is chaos and pandemonium up here, as driver 48 holds on to P3. Chris Mackey in P4, but not for long, because here comes the freight train of fresh tires. It's Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell on the outside. Those two going to be looking to make their way around. Get back up towards the front, get some of that track position back as Dwayne Young gets wicked loose. Off of turn 2, Greg Mitchell to the inside. Looks there, can't get there now. Andrew Caldwell has to check up. Swing wide on the corner right there. Finally, Greg Mitchell to the inside of that blue 48. Almost contact down into turn 1. Andrew Caldwell going to try and follow suit. Greg Mitchell safely through. Andrew Caldwell going to have to remain side by side. Going to have to fight this battle a little further as the track gets significantly darker with the cloud cover rolling in right here. Dwayne Young fighting back on the outside pretty well, considering the tire disadvantage that the 48 is at. He's doing a fantastic job, is Dwayne Young. Another driver doing a fantastic job at the moment is Jason Raymond, driver of the 49. Another newcomer to the Cyber Thunder Racing League, only made a handful of starts so far. And oh, contact in front! That's Dwayne Young going to get sent up to the outside by Andrew Caldwell. We'll need another replay of that, but could that be frustrations boiling over? We are going to find out right here as yellow flag waves. No proper incident, no proper wreck or anything. Caldwell to the inside and just comes up into the 48 right there. We're going to need a couple angles of this one. We're going to need a couple angles of this one. I tell you what, let's go on board. Let's go on board with Andrew Caldwell right here. The onboard tells me that it might have been a little bit of a misjudge misjudgment from the 46 of Andrew Caldwell right here. Get on board one more time, a little further back. Yeah, I think from behind the wheel right here, I'll give Andrew Caldwell the benefit of the doubt. I think he was wanting to slide back in behind the 48 right there, some intense battling. It kind of felt like he was clear from that onboard shot. I can understand him being mistaken about being clear right there. So Andrew Caldwell into the 48, going to cause that incident, going to cause that caution. That's going to be our 5th caution of the evening. Could have very well stayed green with that one, not having involved any other drivers, but as it goes from time to time, caution will be triggered a little quicker, especially at a track like Dover where everything's so packed together, so close quarters. A little bit riskier, a little bit more dangerous. While we're pacing around, why don't we see if we can't pull up our Stage 1 winner, Mr. Cody Gibson. All right, we've got Stage 1 winner, driver of the number 1, Cody Gibson. Cody, you won Stage 1, and we saw 4 drivers flip the stage, but you made easy work of those guys, got back out front in control of this race. How important is the clean air tonight?
It's pretty important, as long as you... I mean, I was trying to keep the right rear on it, and I think that's what helped a lot. I kind of, first 15 laps, I kind of babied it, but clean air is a lot, and it's hard to pass, so I got to try to stay up front.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, we still got a lot of race left to go. How are you feeling about your chances the rest of the race, and who do you got your eye on as your biggest threat?
Probably, right now, it had to be Greg. I mean, I thought it was Matthew, but I guess he got causing a wreck. And Brad Holmes is pretty quick on new tires. If let's start on the outside, see how this is. Try to do a little game with Greg, put old tires in front of him, so.
All right, I like it. Well, we'll send you back down with your team. Good luck, Cody, and thanks for talking to us. There we go. Driver of the 1, winner of Stage 1. Cody Gibson's got 2 wins on the season so far in the Cyber Thunder Racing League 2025-2 season. Looking to make it 3 this evening. Cody Gibson electing to restart on the outside, as he mentioned. Put some older tires in front of Greg on the inside, not give him the advantage. Tell you who's going to like that. That's going to be the 46 of Andrew Caldwell on the outside. And Andrew Caldwell going to have the opportunity to restart behind the leader, which is usually worth, I'd say it's usually worth a couple tenths if you time your restart good. Here we go. Andrew Caldwell does not get a good restart, but Cody Gibson, the race leader, does. Brad Holmes on the inside can't keep that nose right there. Going to get his air chopped off just a little bit, and Brad Holmes actually disappears for a moment. Connection issue right there, but Cody Gibson in control of this race. Brad Holmes looks to the inside. Greg Mitchell on the outside. Just the truck Cody did not want to see. Cody's going to have to check up a little bit. Scrapes that wall, and Brad Holmes on the inside is going to try and power around on those older tires. Can Brad Holmes do it? Mr. Double-Double trying to get up to the lead on older tires than those around him. This is incredible from Brad Holmes right here in that Ford F-150, trying to make it work. Could it be the heat cycles on the tires evening out the field a little bit, making that tire disadvantage a little less severe? Could be a little further back. 1 row back, as a matter of fact. That's Jason Raymond on the inside of Greg Mitchell. Jason Raymond looking for P3. Finally, Cody Gibson, is going to take over the lead. Brad Holmes has to concede that fight, but Jason Raymond in the 49 is up to P3 and now has his sights set on the race leaders a little further back. Chris Mackey nearly takes out Dustin Ping right there, bouncing off of the wall. These two keep it going. No harm, no foul. Field is getting pretty spread out already, where we kind of got different packs of drivers going on, different clumps, different battles. Right now, we're looking at the battle for P13, starting with the 48, all the way on back. A big chunk of the field right here. Gary Bowman on the outside. Dwayne Young, that truck is absolutely on the knife edge. The way that rear end is stepping out all throughout the track at some of the most interesting spots right here. Dwayne Young with a handful behind the wheel. Leroy Koblenz in that 42. Not a name we've said too often this evening to the inside of Gary Bowman. Looking to work him over for P14. Trying to get there. Dwayne Young trying to hold on. That was Jaden Wicks who got ahead of this battle and is running away with it. Oh, issues further back for the 13 truck of Carl Cantonis. And that is going to bring out a caution. Issues for the 13. Collects the 33 of Theodore Todorov. Excuse me. And we're going to need to look at that one for the 13 of Carl Cantonis, one of our newcomers. It looks like the issue was already happening at this point. Let's see if we can't get a good view of what happened here. We'll speed it up just a little bit. That looked to me like a little bit of an accordion effect, and then Carl just could not get the truck pointed in the right direction, could not get it saved like he needed to avoid collecting anyone else. Let's see if there's a different angle of it right here. Carl's following Carter into the corner. He has to check up because the 98 gets in at a weird angle. Carl's checking up, and Larry Bell in the 05 is taking a normal line into the corner, isn't ready for those checkups, hooks the 13, I think, because the 05 wasn't checking up for this. And then Carl does his best. Dover's a weird track. Can't fault him too much for losing that one. Unfortunately, Theodore Todorov had nowhere to go on that one, and that 33 truck is going to get a pretty big hit on that impact right there. Unfortunate for the likes of those drivers. That brings us to our 6th caution of the evening. Back out front, it is, of course, Cody Gibson, driver of the one who controls this race. Ahead of Brad Holmes and Jason Raymond. In 3rd place, running a career best at the moment, is Jason Raymond in what is, I want to say, his 3rd career start, 3rd or 4th career start here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Maybe it's less than that. No, I think it's 3rd at a minimum. I think Jason was in Chicago and was in Sonoma. Maybe one additional race. I'll have to double check my stats on that one. Regardless, biggest mover of the race, biggest movers of the race, plural, Rick Thompson. Runs in P7. He's up 19 positions from where he started. But don't look now, because you know who else is up 19 positions from where he started? That's the driver right behind Rick. That's Dustin Ping in the 81. Dustin Ping, not a driver that I've mentioned very much this evening. Dustin has been having a very quiet race by his standards, by his measures, but not quiet in the sense that he's not quick. Dustin just did not qualify up towards the front, and that's meant that Dustin's been slowly clawing his way up through the field. He finds himself in the top 10 now, up 19 positions. We're re-racking him one more time, so Dustin's going to have an opportunity to continue picking up positions here on this restart. We're going to be restarting on lap 76. Stage 2 ends at the conclusion of lap 90. Call it about 15 laps to the end of stage 2 right here. We've had a lot of caution laps in stage 2, so these tires have not seen all too much on them. However, keep in mind, heat cycles are a thing. For those who don't know, a heat cycle is when you get the tires up to temperature, up to racing speed temperature, all that friction, and then you cool them down because a caution came out and you're no longer putting as much friction on the tires. You heat them up, you cool them down. You heat them up, you cool them down. That's what happens with cautions. And while you're keeping the same tires on, sometimes that affects the handling and the grip. Green flag is out. Cody Gibson in control. He's going to bring Jason Raymond with him. Jason Raymond is a teammate of Cody Gibson in the Five Kings Motorsports group. That 49 truck's going to try and get clear for P2. Brad Holmes on the outside. He's going to fight back, but he's going to be disadvantaged on corner entry. That's going to open the door for Greg Mitchell. Don't look now, but here comes last week's winner, Tanner Marr, on the outside of Andrew Caldwell. Tanner Marr looking to get into the top 5 right here. Could he do it? We got a battle further back between Tom Richter and Dustin Ping. These two were just about touching on corner entry as well. Coming out of turn 2, that's Tom Richter on the inside, Dustin Ping on the outside. You cannot even fit a piece of paper between those two. Going at it. These two have raced each other pretty hard in the past as well. Mike Syverson to the inside of Chris Mackey a little bit further back. Another battle to keep an eye on inside of the top 10 right here. Stage points are up for grabs. For all of these drivers, this one is for the final stage point between Mike Stiverson, Chris Mackey. If they keep this up, they might bring Ed Jurgen into the picture. Jaden Wicks as well in that 0-2. So far, Mike Stiverson's going to take the advantage. That final stage point, P10, belongs to driver 20, excuse me. At the moment, they're going to have to go catch Mike if they want to score a stage point. And at the moment, closest battles on track are a little further back in the Hornet's Nest. Carter Lawson, Dwayne Young. That's Eric Anderson in the 43. Started this race off fantastic on speed, as did Matt Semple in the 16. Both of those drivers running together back in 20th. More or less as, contact between Carter Lawson and Dwayne Young in the 48. They keep it going. Nobody gets around Dwayne Young into the wall, loses a couple spots, but everyone keeps it going. And we are a go as this Hornet's Nest battle continues. We've got more battles to keep an eye on. Greg Mitchell working over Brad Holmes for P3. That's good for Greg Mitchell. And now Tanner Marr is going to try and work over Greg Mitchell, Brad Holmes. He's going to get there in time for the caution. And that caution did not come out before our stage designation, or we did not hit the stage designation, I think is what I'm trying to say. So we will restart with stage points still up for grabs. Dwayne Young having issues for our 7th caution of the evening. See if we can figure out what happened to old Dwayne right here. Single car incident. That's Dave Gainforth in the 101, who tried to avoid low, and that just happens to be where Dwayne had spun. So unfortunate for Dave. Just chose the wrong spot to try and avoid that, but that wreck was already happening by the time Dave got into the 48. Back up front. Let's see if anyone elects to flip the stage right here. Tom Richter, my usual co-host, going to elect to flip the stage. You can see just how lonely he is on pit road. Further back, that's going to be Jared Anderson diving onto pit road as well. Dave Gainforth, Dwayne Young, Lee Campbell. Lee Campbell's a lap down, excuse me. So we're getting the drivers with some damage and whatnot, but this is going to be big. Tom Richter, the only driver in the front bunch of cars to elect to come down pit road and flip the stage. I think a lot of drivers might have been too scared to do that following what happened at the end of stage 1. We saw 4 drivers do this very strategy, and we witnessed how much it did not work for most of those drivers. The only driver who I would say that strategy worked for in stage 1 going into stage 2 was Brad Holmes, who finds himself in P5 at the moment. Brad did a fantastic job. He did have clean air for a good chunk of that run, though, before he was caught, and that might have made the difference. So we'll see. In Tom's case, he's going to have to ride around the track and take it really easy here on these tires. He's not going to want to put too much heat into them. He's going to want to keep those puppies nice and fresh, and I do believe we'll see driver 34 take over control of this race at the end of the stage 2 pit sequence. Stage 2 stage points are still up for grabs, however, and Cody Gibson wants to collect a full bag this evening. He's got 10, and there's 10 more up for grabs, trying to make it a perfect 20. There's nothing like it, speaking from experience. Cody Gibson in the lead, going to elect to choose the outside yet again. Now, there's a reason for that. On the inside of Cody Gibson is going to be teammate Jason Raymond. And by choosing the outside, Cody Gibson gives an advantage to his other teammate, Tanner Marr, driver of the Ford truck, who is restarting in P4. Not only does Cody advantage both of his teammates, but he disadvantages his biggest rival, Greg Mitchell, in the 55 truck. So this is about as perfect of a restart lineup as you could get if you were the driver of that flamin' hot Cheetos #1 Chevy Silverado. We get ready to restart on lap 85, which is the designation for stage 2. Just like in stage 1, the next caution ends this stage Pace car is going to pull off of the track, take that hard left-hand turn. Into the restart zone we go. Cody Gibson in control of this race, that orange Cheetos truck, and Jason Raymond on the inside. Hit the loud pedal, and off we go. It's a good restart for both lines. Tanner Marr on the outside is going to have the opportunity to clear Greg Mitchell. He does it. That's 5 Kings Motorsports. 1, 2, 3. They almost touch, though. Jason Raymond almost clips Tanner Marr. Raymond on the inside. He's going to be a moving roadblock, but not in a bad way. I think that's in a teammate working together kind of way. Tanner Marr up to P2. Andrew Caldwell up to P4 ahead of Greg Mitchell, who's now under pressure from double-double. Brad Holmes trying to make it interesting as well. He's not going to be able to get there, however. Ignore the stage 2, 114 to go on the timing tower. It's a little bit messed up at the moment. We are getting ready to end stage 2 in just a moment's time. As Cody Gibson circles around, we are on lap 87 out of 90 for stage 2 at the line. It is going to be 3 laps to the end of the stage. Cody Gibson in control. Tanner Marr, Jason Raymond, Andrew Caldwell. Looks like most of our top 10 are single filed out at the moment, just waiting for somebody to make their move and make it a little interesting, going for a position, going for another stage points or 2. All of our top 10 still keeping it single filed. Around we go, coming to 2 laps to go in stage number 2. Who is going to be the one to make a move? Further back, it's Ed Jurgen working over Chris Mackey. This is going to be for P9. These are the final 2 positions in stage, in the top 10 for stage points, excuse me. As we are on, oh my goodness, we are just about on the final lap of the stage. Around we go. Ed Jurgen pushes Chris Mackey out of the way, elbows out, going to take over P9, and the yellow flag is out. And that is going to be stage number 2. That is going to be stage number 2 right there. And Cody Gibson is going to walk away. Wow, you could see Tom Richter right there. Tom took it so easy on the tires that he might have almost gone a lap down. He was taking it so easy on the tires. That's an interesting one, unless I'm missing something. That might have been the case. Anyway, Cody Gibson gonna win stage number 2. Tanner Marr, Jason Raymond, 2nd and 3rd. Andrew Caldwell in 4th. Greg Mitchell in 5th. Brad Holmes, Dustin Ping, Rick Thompson through 8th. The final 2 positions for stage points go to Ed Jurgen and Chris Mackey, scoring that final stage point. Stages are over. Points are awarded. Let's get these pit stops underway, and then we've got to run to the finish. All right, getting ready to watch all of our drivers make their way off a pit road. Who's going to win the race off a pit road? Is Cody Gibson going to maintain control of this race? Yes, Tanner Marr in 2nd. Andrew Caldwell looks to jump ahead of Jason Raymond. Greg Mitchell, Brad Holmes, Rick Thompson, Dustin Ping, Ed Jurgen, Chris Mackey is our order off of pit road, but is not our order for the race, because look who it is. And as a matter of fact, I tell you what, if we can't move Tom up here, All right, we've got driver of the 34 diehard Chevy Silverado. Tom, we've been talking about your strategy. You're flipping the stage, and here we are. It looked like you almost went a lap down. Was that due to incident, or were you just saving that much tire?
We were saving that much tire. I said, you know, I'm not going for any sort of stage points out here tonight, so come down, run a couple of laps half speed, and I got to about a second and a half behind me before I was like, ooh, I might be in trouble here. But they were coming to take the stage, so we're all good here, so we'll see how the tires hold up. Hello? All right.
Apologies for that. I had some technical difficulties right there. On my end, leave Tom on an awkward note. Gotta love it, though. Tom being a broadcaster, I'm sure he gets a kick out of that one. Well, technical difficulties at the worst possible time. Anyway, there we go. Hearing from driver 34, Tom Richter, as the pace car pulls off. Tom is in control of this race on practically fresh tires. We'll see what taking it easy over a couple laps does. Worth of a difference. Green flag is out. Tom in control of the race. And into turn one we go. Everyone going to try and get ready for a long run through stage number 3. Issues further back. Is that Ed Jurgen hitting the wall? Pretty significant damage on the right front of that 92 truck. You can see it caved in just a little bit. Gonna have to monitor that situation for Mr. Jurgen, but up front, it's a battle for the race lead. Cody Gibson to the inside of Tom Richter. Cody Gibson gonna get loose. This is the first time that we've seen Cody Gibson really challenged for the race lead, in which Cody was on the bottom line, which is not the preferred line. Tom knows that he needs to hold on to that outside line if he wants a shot to keep Cody Gibson behind. We got Tanner Marr solidly up into third, Jason Raymond in fourth as we run. Andrew Caldwell holding on to fifth, Brad Holmes, Greg Mitchell following suit. A little further back, Mike Stiverson going to give up a spot to Nathan Dufton. It's going to be for P12 as we run. And for the most part, the closest battles on track, as these drivers all try and figure it out. Nathan Dufton trying to work over Jaden Wicks in the 0-2, not quite going to get there at the moment. We jump a little further up right here as our race leaders start to get a little more spread out. Dustin Ping going to take it to the inside of Greg Mitchell. He's going to look. He can't quite get there. Going to have that air on Dustin's nose chopped off as Greg just touches the wall faintly right there. Dustin's going to have an opportunity to stick a nose to the inside. Wow, Dustin is able to rotate the center of the corner so well right there. Dustin Ping in the 81 going to take over that spot from Greg Mitchell, who does not put up too much of a retaliatory fight right there. Going to let Dustin take that spot for now and make his way on forward. Up front, Cody Gibson's not done working over the 34 truck yet. Tom Richter in control of this race, but Cody Gibson wants to take control back from that 34 truck. Cody Gibson has dominated this race so far. Tom Richter gets there on strategy, and now for the first time that 34 has clean air. What can Tom do here? What can Cody do now that he's in a position where he doesn't have clean track ahead of him? Andrew Caldwell scrapes the wall a little further back. Dustin Ping is working over Brad Holmes. It's going to be for P6. They're neck and neck. Jump a little further back and keep an eye on this side-by-side battle. Dustin Ping on the inside. Brad Holmes keeping that good defensive outside line. And what this is going to do is this is going to hurt Dustin Ping's tires trying to pass on the bottom. I think he's going to get there. I think Brad was slightly disadvantaged on corner entry. That might bring Greg Mitchell in. Brad gets loose, and that's really going to bring Greg Mitchell into the fold as we go back up front. It looked like Cody Gibson might have had an opportunity. He's going to have to wait just a little bit longer as Andrew Caldwell and Jason Raymond find themselves side by side for P4. Caldwell's going to get that spot. Drop the 49 back down to P5 as Greg Mitchell continues to battle with Mr. Double-Double Brad Holmes. That's finally going to even itself out. Further back, Ed Jurgen, Chris Mackey. These two have been battling quite a bit this evening. Give the advantage to Chris Mackey as we run. Ed Jurgen dealing with that right front damage on his truck. Back up towards the front, Cody Gibson trying to catch up to Tom. But I tell you what, Tom's putting on a show for Kathy and Chad at the moment. Off of turn 4 we go. We're going to be working lap number 106 across the line. And we are over halfway in this race. Let me see if I can't fix the stage oddity up there on top of the board. There we go. We'll go ahead and do that for now. Lap 106 of 200. Cody Gibson wants the outside. Tom doesn't want to give it to him. Cody Gibson really tried to make it work right there. Tried to get a nose. All Cody needs is a nose on the outside. Didn't work that time. Off of turn 2 we go. Cody Gibson is the faster truck, but Tom has the clean air. Tom wants control of this race. That clean air is worth so much. Gibson is trying everything he can. He's trying diamonding. He's trying high. He's trying low. He's pushing Tom into the corner, trying to get him off of his game, off of his rhythm, out of the line he wants to run. And Tom is running for his life at the moment. We'll watch from the rear deck lid of the 34 truck as Caldwell bumps Tanner out of the way for P3. Pushes Tanner up the track just a little bit. We see that just behind this battle right here. Tanner Marr going to hold on at the moment in that blue number 4. But there are battles all around right here. Cody Gibson with a good run. Is he going to take it to the inside? He's not. He's going to bide his time just a little bit. Caldwell to the inside of Tanner Marr. Gibson might get there. He's looking to the outside. He can't get the nose there in time. But Tom has to check up. And that's going to bring the one to the inside. Cody Gibson's going to have the momentum. He's going to send it into the corner. And he is going to clear. Yes, there's a lap down car, though, that gets in the way. And Tom has to tuck into line. New race leader, returning race leader, Cody Gibson. Ahead of Tom Richter in second place. Still doing good on that alternate strategy. Tanner Marr in third. Look at this, though. Dustin Ping making his way through the field. He's now battling Jason Raymond for P5. Dustin Ping has not been in the top 5 at all this evening, but here we go. Just in time for the longest run of the race in Stage 3. Could Dustin Ping have something for these leaders? Could Rick Thompson have something for these leaders? Rick Thompson in the 76 also making his way up through the field over the course of this event so far. Something to keep an eye on for sure. As Andrew Caldwell continues to work over Tanner Marr, this battle for P3 that has been going on for much of this run so far, continually heating up, continually going, as Gibson starts to pull away in the race lead. Tom Richter holds on to second. Tanner Marr trying to defend for third at the moment. The more he makes Andrew Caldwell fight, the better off he's going to be. With every lap that Tanner defends, the more likely he is to hold that position, because Andrew's going to be burning up his stuff trying to make that pass. And for all we know, this could be a very long green flag run. Andrew Caldwell hard into the wall. At what point is he going to do too much damage to the right side of that truck? Gonna have to be careful. We've seen him hit the wall a number of times. Rick Thompson to the outside, Greg Mitchell to the inside in this battle right here for P7. Issues for Mike Stuyvesant just a little bit potentially. If I saw that right, just got a little loose. May have been a different truck that I witnessed, maybe not. Here we go with Rick Thompson to the inside of Dustin Ping. Both of these drivers are two of our biggest movers, both up 20 positions at the moment. Dustin Ping, Rick Thompson, Greg Mitchell, who has the most wins this season. This is a formidable battle of 3 right there. Tanner Marr, defending from Andrew Caldwell, is also attacking Tom Richter. Tanner's like, I think I can hold off Andrew. but not if I can't get around Tom. I think that's what the number 4 is thinking at the moment, and Tanner's got to try and get forward. He's got to get around that 34 truck if he wants to hold off that 46. And if you're the 46, you see 2 trucks in front of you that you believe you're faster than, so you're going to do anything you can to pass these guys one way or the other, as Tom is fighting for his life to hold on to track position. We got to remember that that 34 truck is on an alternate strategy. His tires are slightly older. Not only are they slightly older, he probably put a lot on those tires, holding on to the lead ahead of Cody Gibson. Caldwell is going to get to the inside of Tom Richter right here and have a shot. But back to my point, Tom has got to hold on to track position. For every position Tom loses, the handling of that truck is going to get worse. His tires being slightly older than the rest, he needs to be as far up in the running order as he possibly can be. With every spot he drops, it's going to get worse for him. He's now down to P3, which is not bad by any means. He is still working the strategy beautifully, but something to keep an eye on, keep in mind when we see Tom fighting as hard as he is for every single position. Not only that, but speaking from experience, Tom and I are broadcasting this season. We don't get very many opportunities to jump behind the wheel of these trucks, at least for this season. So I remember when I was on track in Nashville and I was fighting tooth and nail for every possible spot I could, for every inch I could, because we don't get the opportunities anymore. So that's also a part of it, I'm sure. As we see Greg Mitchell to the inside of Tanner Marr, this is going to be a battle for P4. Greg Mitchell, teammate of Tom Richter, gets a little loose right there. He's going to still clear Tanner. He's just got the superior speed at the moment. Greg Mitchell potentially the biggest threat for Cody Gibson, but not if Andrew Caldwell has anything to say about it. He does have 3 seconds to make up to catch up to race leader Cody Gibson, who has put on the jets and run away at the moment here. Cody Gibson's got something figured out that these other drivers do not. As we continue to watch this battle for 3rd and 4th on track, it looks like it's kind of evened out at the moment. A little further back, Dustin Ping, Brad Holmes going at it, a battle for P7. Double-double no longer on an alternate strategy, now on the same tires as these guys around him. Dustin Ping, though, doing everything he can to hold on to this newfound track position late in the race, wants to have himself an opportunity to continue working forward. Looks like he'll have the advantage on this one. They're going to clear. And a little further back, it's the recovery run for Mr. Eric Anderson, driver 43, who is back up to position 12. Eric started this race P2. He was on the front row. He had top 5 speed all of stage 1, and he was involved in an incident. Had to go back, had to fix some damage, but Eric Anderson is climbing back up the ranks and getting back towards the front. This would be an incredible recovery from Eric Anderson if he can get up into the top 10. And issues for Mike Stiverson. Slides to the inside, contact with the wall, left front damage on that truck right there. And you can tell that he's feeling it. He's going to drop more positions. That truck is struggling. He might have damaged that suspension just a little bit. Did driver number 20, unfortunately, as we have to jump back up front because there are more battles happening. Tom Richter in 4th. Greg Mitchell is gone. He made his way around for P3, and Greg is chasing down the 2 race leaders. But at the moment, Tom holds on to P4, trying to hold off Jason Raymond. Tanner Marr and then Jason Raymond. Rick Thompson and Dustin Ping, this 5-car train being led by driver 34 as we run. Looks like Tanner's going to try and get to the inside. He's not going to quite get there as we have issues on track. Potentially issues. Maybe not. No caution is out, but I've got race control in my ear telling me that there was an issue back here. Let's see what happened. Let's see if it was just a false flag issue right here. For Mike Stiverson in the 20. Oh my goodness. Mike Stiverson in the 20 pulls a Tom Richter. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let's get the onboard here. Yeah. Wow. That is really unfortunate for driver number 20. Before getting that damage on the left front, Mike was having a fantastic run this evening. Gets into the tire, into the barrels on the entry of pit road. That's a classic. That's a common one here. Somehow, someway, something about those barrels in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, I tell you what. We jump back up front here. Rick Thompson trying to work over Jason Raymond. Battle for P5. Rick Thompson not been in the top 5 all evening. Driver of the 76. He's going to make contact, though. Gets loose. Fantastic save from the 76 truck right there. Got sideways, leaning on the 49. Amazing work not to slide that truck down to the inside wall, not to overcorrect and spin out. Beautiful piece of driving from Rick Thompson right there. He is going to lose a couple positions, but that's way better than getting into the wall and having some significant damage if you are Mr. Rick Thompson. Up front, Cody Gibson in control of this race. Andrew Caldwell in second place. Now, something to keep an eye on here is that we've seen some pit stops. Pit stops have begun. We've got some drivers on pit road right now. Andy Quirk, Jared Anderson. Some drivers have already made their pit stop. Greg Mitchell, Lee Campbell have already been down on pit road for service. Matt Semple, who is a number of laps down. But Greg Mitchell was running in the top 5, made his pit stop, 4 tires. That sounds to me like Greg Mitchell is going to be going for a 2-stop strategy to the end of this stage, as opposed to potentially a 1-stop from some of these other drivers. Andrew Caldwell runs in second, Tom Richter in third, Tanner Marr in fourth, Jason Raymond in fifth, Dustin Ping, Brad Holmes, Rick Thompson, Jaden Wicks, Eric Anderson. That's our top 10 as we run. And at the tail end of the top 10, we've got a slight battle heating up here between the 02 and the 43. As we've got Cody Gibson, race leader, pulls down on pit road. And that's going to hand over the lead to Andrew Caldwell, driver of the 46. Now in control of this race, but not for long, because Andrew Caldwell is going to pull it down onto pit road. Tom Richter is going to pull it down onto pit road, as is Tanner Marr. And I'm keeping an eye out for any penalties that might be given away. Cody Gibson, driver of the 1, is gonna have a clean pit stop. Cody Gibson, clean pit stop, in and out, 15.17 seconds. He's gonna lose track position to Greg Mitchell by a significant margin, and that might be monumental, as Jason Raymond finds himself on pit road. Nathan Dufton is on pit road. Dustin Ping controls this race at the moment. Driver of the 81. Oh, Jason Raymond, speeding penalty on pit road for one of our top 5 contenders. Big issues for the 49 of Jason Raymond. Did not want to see that for one of our newcomers, having a phenomenal run this evening. So late in the race to have such a big penalty under green flag conditions. Dustin Ping in the 81. When will he elect to pit? How long is Dustin going to run this out? Potentially hoping for a caution, potentially hoping to catch some drivers a lap down. Eric Anderson's on pit road. Larry Bell is on pit road. Brad Holmes is going to peel it down onto pit road as well. That leaves 9 drivers out who have not yet made their pit stops. Greg Mitchell splitting it 3 wide. Greg Mitchell, who is going to be the de facto race leader should this cycle out, ahead of Cody Gibson and Andrew Caldwell. Those are the gaps right there, more or less. as we jump back on board with our current race leader, Dustin Ping, in the 81 truck, trying to stretch this out, trying to hope for a caution potentially, or maybe just give him the potential to make it to the end. He's going to give it up to Rick Thompson, who's going to take over the race lead now as Dustin Ping pulled it down onto pit road, make it 8 drivers yet to pit on this sequence. At the moment, how long can they run? Can they make it a one-stop? It would be extremely difficult. Rick Thompson's going to bring it down onto pit road. He's going to give up the race lead to Jaden Wicks, who is continuing to stay out. A fuel run is 52 to 55 laps. It is lap 142. They would need to make it preferably to about lap 144, 145 to have an outside chance of saving the fuel to make it to the end on one stop. Jaden Wicks continues to stay out as we are down to 7 drivers who are staying out, trying to make this strategy work. Carl Cantonis going to pull down the 13 truck right there. He's on the pit road as well. 6 drivers remain trying to work the fuel. Jaden Wicks in the 02 is the lead driver of this bunch. Chris Mackey's going to pull it down on the pit road. Another one has pulled down as Jaden Wicks continues to lead this race, continues to circulate in P1, trying to save that fuel. We're on lap 143. Jaden Wicks is getting into that window where making it to the end on just this one stop may be possible. He's going to stay out another lap right here as he is on the outside. He couldn't pull down even if he wanted to. Could Jaden Wicks in the 02s? We see Greg Mitchell in the 55 and Cody Gibson in the 1, both making their way through traffic. Cody Gibson trying to close up to Greg Mitchell. Those are going to be the 2 battling for the lead of the 2 stoppers. And finally, Jaden Wicks has to pull it down. He might be out of fuel. Jaden Wicks might be out of fuel. He might... Oh, issues for Jaden Wicks. This is perhaps the 3rd or 4th time we have seen that same issue from Jaden Wicks in the 02 this season. He gives up the lead to Gary Bowman, who is still saving fuel out front. It's lap 145. We are properly in the window of possible, and caution is out. The yellow flag has flown, and that changes everything. Gary Bowman might be out of fuel. The caution came out with so little fuel left in the tank. Can Gary make it around onto pit road? We're going to jump on board. We'll catch the replay once we see how this plays out, as I feel as though this is perhaps what we should be keeping our eye on at the moment. Multiple drivers are caught 1 lap down. We'll see if they remain a lap down. They will be able to wave around if all 5 lead lap drivers come down onto the pit road. It looks like Gary has enough to get back into the gas a little bit right here, and that is good news. Pit road's going to be open this time by Gary Bowman. Is the race leader Ed Jurgen in 2nd place? Now, are the drivers who already pit going to come down? They should be able to make it. Greg Mitchell is, Cody Gibson is, Andrew Caldwell is, and that means that all of those drivers who are caught a lap down having made their pit stop, they will get the wave around. With that being said, let's take a look at what brought out this caution right here. Oh, wow. Okay, this one started a little bit earlier, and we are going to need another angle of this one, if we can. Let's go a little earlier on. See how this played out right here. We've got differing tires, differing speeds, and we'll slow it down right here. So we've got the 34 and the 4 on the inside. Quicker drivers on track than the 89 and the 13. Down into turn 1 we go. We'll keep it on slow-mo right here as we watch what happens through turns 1 and 2. Tom Richter to the inside of Philip Van Vliet. Philip is not ready to be sent 3 wide. Philip cannot tell there's a car there fast enough. He's going to get bumped out of the way by Tom, up into the 13 of Carl Cantonis, who is an unfortunate bystander in this incident. Tom sends it 3 wide. Philip is not ready for the 3 wide. And then it is just it is a wreck from there by all means. Unfortunate for those involved. And with that, we get to see a good number of wave arounds right here. Here we go. As we watch all of these drivers wave around the pace car. The whole field in complete disarray, trying to catch back up. That caution couldn't have come out at a more chaotic time. That being said, we're not going to have half the field a lap down. I guess technically we do have half the field a lap down. We're not going to have 90% of the field a lap down. So that will at least keep things a little more interesting. What else is interesting is that we can now make it to the finish. The drivers who pit on lap 147, those 6 drivers who were advantaged by that caution, those drivers can make it to the end on fuel with a little bit of saving. The rest cannot. That single file line of all of those wave arounds. Here we go then. Gary Bowman in the race lead for the first time, controlling this race on the restart. Greg Mitchell to the outside, Cody Gibson and Andrew Caldwell. They're on the loud pedal, and away we roll. Gary Bowman in control. Greg Mitchell in second place. Cody Gibson's going to try and keep it pinned on the inside. Can he make it happen? We heard Cody say earlier on the broadcast that Greg was his biggest threat. Gary Bowman hasn't been up front all race long. Gary's not confident in his short run speed based on what I heard from him in practice. Gary likes his long run speed. He doesn't like a short run speed. We're seeing that right now as Gary drops 2, maybe 3 positions here as Andrew Caldwell looks to make his way around as well. But up front here, it's Greg Mitchell going after Cody Gibson, who is now in control of this race once again. These top 2 have been our top 2 drivers for most of the season. Gibson with 2 wins, Mitchell with 3 wins. At this rate, it would even out to 3 apiece. But don't look now, because Andrew Caldwell in that 46 Toyota Tundra is hungry. Andrew Caldwell, who finished second in the championship last season, has been winless for far too long, looking to break a streak. We'll have to keep an eye on that Safe Light 46 Toyota Tundra. As the top 3 rocket through turns 1 and 2, Gary Bowman starts to fall back just a little further. We've got a handful of lap cars before we get to the bulk of the field. We've got Tanner here quietly. Got to make his way around Matt Semple, who is a lapped car at the moment. Tanner running in P5. P6 is Dustin Ping further back, followed by Ed Jurgen, Rick Thompson, Nathan Dufton, and Jaden Wicks, the top 10. The field is all sorts of out of cahoots. There are lap cars in between just about everyone on the lead lap at the moment. So the running order is a lot different than the order on track. Something to keep in mind for those watching as Greg Mitchell goes to the inside. Greg Mitchell looking to make the move on Cody Gibson, driver of the Hot Cheetos. Flamin' Hot Cheetos, number 1. Can Greg Mitchell get there? Can Greg Mitchell make it happen? Can Cody Gibson hold on the outside? That's the preferred lane. But Greg Mitchell, a seasoned race winner of the Cyber Thunder Racing League, knows how to do this. Who's it going to be? Will it be Andrew Caldwell, who's lurking in third, waiting for the opportunity to strike as we work lap 156? You would think we're on lap 190 with 10 to go, the way these 3 are going at each other. Greg Mitchell's going to have to back it up a little bit. He's going to try and get another run going. He's got a great opportunity here as further back, Tanner Marr has caught up to the back of Gary Bowman. These 2 drivers have history. Sonoma a couple weeks ago, Tanner Marr gave Gary the bump right on out of the way in the final corner to take over 3rd place and score that podium. So Gary owes one to Tanner, something to keep in mind. And while it might not be that big of a deal in reality, you already know we're going to drum it up here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network, because this is a rivalry whether these two drivers want it or not. And back up front, speaking of rivalries, Greg Mitchell going after Cody Gibson one more time on the inside. He's going to try and make this work. Fred Thompson, lap car up ahead, could be used as a pick if you're Greg Mitchell. Can't quite do it. Can't quite keep the one car on the outside. And Cody Gibson will live to fight another day without being used, or not having a pick thrown your way, so to say, as Greg Mitchell lines him up one more time. Andrew Caldwell just taking it nice and easy back there in third place. He's keeping those two race leaders in tow, or rather in sight. We can get a good shot right here from on board Mr. Caldwell, driver of the 46, as he watches these two go at it, trying to scrap for the race lead. Now, don't forget, these drivers have to monitor their fuel situation. They can't push all out and make it to the end on fuel, but these drivers up front can make it. They just need to be a little careful about their fuel. Those top two right now, they're not able to save fuel with them battling like this. Andrew Caldwell, Gary Bowman, Tanner Marr, those drivers are in a better position to be saving a little bit to make it to the end, and I would expect that's especially what the likes of Gary Bowman and Tanner Marr are doing. These three have broken away a little bit from the aforementioned Gary Bowman and Tanner Marr, running in 4th and 5th. Dustin Ping, bit further back. Wrong driver. Dustin Ping a little bit further back, running in P6, very quiet. Rick Thompson running in P7, Nathan Dufton in P8. He's under pressure from Jaden Wicks in the 0-2, who's looking to make a run up towards him. Jaden Wicks running in P9. Driver I haven't mentioned hardly at all this evening, Larry Bell in the 0-5. Driver of Five Kings Motorsports finds himself in the top 10 at the moment, running in P10. We see Tom Richter in the 34 truck making his way off of pit road. Oh, he almost gets into the left rear of the 0-5. We're 3 wide for a moment. Everyone's trying to figure out where to go. Tom on those fresh tires, not taking any prisoners, and he is gone. Just like that, this kerfuffle and a half. As we jump back up towards the front, keep an eye on our race leaders. These three are still putting the field on notice. They've got 3 seconds to Gary Bowman in 4th place. And caution is out. Yellow flag on the speedway will once again shake everything up. This is a very interestingly timed caution, and I am not entirely sure where this caution came from. If I'm being quite honest, potentially issues for Larry Bell. Let's see here. Let's speed this back up. Oh, yep, sure enough. Issues for Larry Bell. I was just giving him praise for how solid his night was turning. Larry Bell is going to have issues right here. Let's jump on board with Larry Bell. We got the lap down car of Fred Thompson on the outside. And they get together. Fred Thompson trying to run his line on the wall. Larry Bell trying to run the line a little closer to the inside. And they just come together. Meanwhile, race leaders, and yes, I mean all of them, are coming down on a pit road. Just about everybody is on pit road. All of our lead lap drivers, they're all coming down for some new tires, but will we see some differing strategies? Some of these tires are new enough that we could be talking about 2 tire stops potentially. We're going to keep an eye on it, and we're going to see what happens here. Is Cody Gibson going to hold on to control of this race, or will we see something crazy out of any of these other drivers right here? Gary Bowman might beat Andrew Caldwell off. Greg Mitchell might not hold on to second. That's going to be a close battle for P2. Cody Gibson safely out first. It looks like Greg Mitchell did hold on ahead of Gary Bowman, who jumps ahead of Andrew Caldwell. Up front, Eric Anderson, who stayed out, though I don't know if that will hold. It will not. Eric Anderson now pulling down onto the pit lane. Stayed out, led a lap right there. And now Cody Gibson will resume control of this race. We've got 4 drivers taking a wave around. That's Matt Semple in the 16, Tom Richter in the 34, Jason Raymond in the 49, and Leroy Koblenz in the 42. All 4 of those drivers are going to hit the loud pedal, make their way around the track, get 1 lap back apiece. Apologies for that noise right there. I'm not sure where that came from, in all honesty. And now we double it up. Lights are out on the pace car. And we witness the field get back together here. Cody Gibson, Greg Mitchell on the front row. Gary Bowman, Andrew Caldwell on the second row. Tanner Marr, Rick Thompson on the third row. As we will be restarting on lap 168 out of 200. 33 laps remaining to the finish. Fuel, throw it out the window. Brand new tires, fuel to the end. It is an all-out brawl in the Monster Mile. Pace car pulls off. Cody Gibson eyes that restart zone. Green flag is out, and away we go to the end of this race. All right, Cody Gibson holds on to the lead. Greg Mitchell in second. The battle is on for third as Gary Bowman holds on in the 8 truck ahead of... Oh, issues for Dustin Ping further back. Issues for the driver of the 81. Caution is out for the 11th time this evening. Big issues for Dustin Ping, who gets loose on corner exit and just kills the wall on the inside. Race ending contact with the wall right there. That is going to destroy that car. Get an onboard shot right here. That completely totals the engine, totals that truck, and Dustin Ping will be out of this event, unfortunately, with that incident right there. Back up front, Cody Gibson holds on. Greg Mitchell, Gary Bowman, Tanner Marr. This one's been a doozy. We're working our 11th caution. You know what? While we're working all of these cautions, why don't we? Why don't we? Let's see if we can't pull up driver running P2 at the moment. All right, driver in P2, driving the 55, Greg Mitchell. Greg, we've seen this race devolve into chaos, and we've also seen it really coming down to the likes of yourself and Cody Gibson in the 1. What do you think you've got for Cody on this final run, or however many runs it might take to get to the end?
Yeah, I don't know. That clean air is everything, and so I was trying to get him on that last run while the tires were clean. We're still fresh, but it's so hard to get a run off, and that outside gets all the grip. So I don't know. I just gotta make it stick, and it's got to be early.
That's a fair point. Definitely gotta make it stick. Are you feeling like you might get the run to the end under green? Do you feel like the chaos might continue? That now, you know, the box has kind of been unleashed?
Yeah, I don't know. I almost tried to save a set there, but I didn't want to be back in the mess either and bank on a caution. So I want some green run, that's for sure. But After 10 laps, it's going to be tough because that dirty air hurts quite a bit. So we'll see. I hope we can get a good run to the green though, because I want to race Cody. It's fun.
Absolutely. All right, we'll let you get back down with the team. Good luck for the rest of the evening, Greg. And with that, we turn our attention back to the lights on that pace car as those lights are out. And we get ready to restack, re-rack. Cody Gibson's going to elect to take the outside for this restart, putting Greg Mitchell on the inside. Cody's going to give the advantage to his teammate Tanner Marr, who's restarting in row 2 on the outside. Tanner Marr, driver of the 4, running in P4. But let's not forget Gary Bowman in that 8 truck, running in 3rd place on the inside quietly. Made his way up with caution falling his way up into the picture now. Let's not forget that Gary Bowman currently sits 2nd in the point standings. Gary Bowman's been quiet. He hasn't won this season, but he has scored a lot of points, and it looks like another good points haul for Gary if he can keep this going. Andrew Caldwell, Rick Thompson, that's your 3rd row as the pace car pulls off, and Cody Gibson eyes that restart zone. Going to get ready to hit that loud pedal and send us off. What kind of restart's Greg Mitchell going to get on the inside? Time to find out as that green flag waves and we make our way into turn 1. Tanner Marr with a fantastic run on the outside. Going to push his teammate into turn number 1. Tanner Marr clear of Greg Mitchell just about. Call it good, and that's Tanner Marr up to P2, but maybe not for long if you're going to keep sliding like that. Down into turn 3 we go. Greg Mitchell's got to take a very wide line to evade making contact right there. He is going to have a huge run down the front stretch to the inside. Goes Greg Mitchell, trying to take over P2 from Tanner Marr, but Tanner's fighting back on the outside. He's not going to give it up so easily. Down the back stretch we run. Everyone's going to single file it on out up front, and a little further back we've got battles going on. Nathan Dufton, Larry Bell for the final spot in the top 10. As, apologies for that noise once again. I'm not sure where that's coming from. We got a couple lap cars battling further back. Tom Richter in the 34, my usual co-host, is 1 lap down. The first driver 1 lap down. Battling Jason Raymond in the 49 for the free pass should another caution come out. Those 2 drivers separated by a fair few. Drivers on the lead lap, 14 of them, last of which being the 88 of Amanda Sherman in that war wagon, up into P14, having a very quiet night, surviving the carnage, making her way up, climbing positions, keeping the nose clean, and at this rate, might find herself pretty close to a top 10, if not in the top 10. Up front, Andrew Caldwell and Gary Bowman going at it. This is a battle for P4. Caldwell trying to make his way back up. He lost this position on pit road, but he has the speed. Andrew has shown some solid speed this evening. We'll see how it all shakes out. 23 laps remain. We're going to come to 22 as Cody Gibson rounds turn 4 and crosses the line. Tanner Marr, teammate, driver of the number 4 in tow. Greg Mitchell a little further back. Had to let off the pressure that was on Tanner Marr. Greg might be looking after his tires a little bit. He might have thought to himself it wasn't so worth going for it so early in the run. Maybe going to bank on this run going all the way and wants to give himself a shot in the final 10 laps right here. But he'll have to hold on to P3 ahead of Gary Bowman if he wants to make any of that other stuff work. So to the inside goes Gary. How hard is Rick gonna, or Greg's, excuse me, how hard is Greg gonna find him? Oh, contact! Gary Bowman gets into the 55 of Greg Mitchell, and both of those drivers up into the wall. 2 drivers that we do not see involved in incidents like this. 2 of the cleanest drivers in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, Gary Bowman, Greg Mitchell. What an uncharacteristic happening here as Gary tries to close that gap on corner entry and clips the left rear of the 55 truck. And from there, nowhere to go. These 2 end up just up into the wall and sliding back down across the track. 2 drivers who were having a fantastic run this evening. Wow. 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 Very uncharacteristic. Meanwhile, split strategies up front. Top 5 drivers stay out, make it 6, make it 7. With Andy Cork, Amanda Sherman, they're going to jump some spots, but take a look at this now. Rick Thompson, Ed Jurgen, Larry Bell, Nathan Dufton, Jaden Wicks. All coming down on pit road to take some fresh tires. They will be restarting from 8th position on back with brand new tires in this run to the finish. It may be enough to make the difference. They'll still have to make some passes, but it might be just enough for one of these drivers to get up there and spoil the party. We'll keep an eye on the lights on the pace car right here. We'll see if they go out this time or not. But the running order has been completely shaken up with that incident between our second and third place runner, or third and fourth place runners at the time of that caution. We're going to re-rack them and get ready to go at this one more time. Now let's keep in mind, all of our race leaders last pit on lap 166. Eric Anderson in the 43 on lap 171. He's restarting in P5. Rick Thompson in P8 just took 4 tires on lap 181. That is a big enough tire difference to make the difference on speed. The question isn't, will Rick be fast enough? The question is, will he have enough time? We are going to restart on lap 183 out of 200. Multiple tire strategies, all converging at the end. Cody Gibson, Tanner Marr, that's our front row. Andrew Caldwell, Chris Mackey, that's our second row. Into the restart zone we go, and that green flag flies. Good restart from both lanes. Off we roll as we await to see how this is going to shake out. We've got our 4 fresh tires right back here. Jaden Wicks is going to become the top driver on 4 tires. Now to the inside of Andy Corkers. Oh, Rick Thompson goes around, as does Nathan Dufton, and that will bring out yet another yellow. Let's see what happened with Rick Thompson in the 76 getting involved in that incident right there. Let's speed this up just a little bit and let's slow it down here. Rick Thompson 3 wide, Larry Bell on the inside, entering turn 3, and it just looks like Rick can't go any lower because Larry Bell's there. Carlo doesn't really give Larry a lot of room right there, so Larry gets into the 76. Apologies for that noise. I don't know where that noise is coming from. Up into the wall goes Rick Thompson. And unfortunately, Nathan Dufton was collected in that as well. Switch it back to live. And jump up front because Cody Gibson, Tanner Marr, Andrew Caldwell remains our top 3. Chris Mackey, Eric Anderson, 4th and 5th. Running in P6, it's Amanda Sherman, driver of the War Wagon. Amanda Sherman, driver of the War Wagon, and I tell you what, there's not many opportunities for this. All right, we got driver of the 88, Amanda Sherman, who finds herself running in 6th position with less than 20 laps to go. Amanda, how are you feeling about the end of this race right here? There's multiple different tire strategies going on, but here you are in the thick of it.
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm loving 3 and 4. Not in love with coming off at 2. I like the group of guys that are around me. Just wondering how many more cautions we're gonna have before the end of this thing, but feeling pretty good.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. Are you kind of in survival mode at the moment? Are you thinking, just get through the chaos, or now that you're here, are you ready to just go all out and see what you can do?
Now that I'm here, I'm ready to go all out. Eric Anderson's been making fun of me all night, like playing it safe, Amanda, and I played it safe, let everybody do their shenanigans, get to the very end, and now I am going to race hard as I've been probably the past 20 laps. So I'm ready to go.
Oh, heck yeah. Love to hear it. To make Dale the Possum proud, send you back with your team and see what Amanda Sherman can do in the closing laps of this event here. Driver of the 88, of course. Lights are out on the pace car, and we're going to re-rack them again. Now, with these cautions, we've had some drivers make their way back onto the lead lap. Drivers that include Tom Richter in the 34, my usual co-host. Tom Richter, who last pit on lap 181. Tom is one of these drivers who are on the freshest tires in the field. Now, Tom has some work to do starting in P10. That's quite the distance. That's quite the number of positions to have to make up, and there might not be enough time. However, you can never say never. The top driver on 4 fresh tires is Jaden Wicks in the 02. He's going to be restarting on the inside, the 4th car back. He's running in P7, and he can see the race lead right there. Keep an eye on the 02 of Jaden Wicks. Keep an eye on the 43 of Eric Anderson, one driver ahead. His tires aren't as new, but they are newer than those in front of him. Here we go then. Pace cars off. Cody Gibson, Tanner Marr in control of this race. Into the restart zone we go. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos truck's going to slam that gas pedal. And off we go. Great restart from Andrew Caldwell right behind us. He's going to be able to challenge Tanner Marr for P2. Down into turn 1 we go. Looking for how this battle for P2 is going to shape up right here. And Tanner Marr is going to hold on. A little further back, Amanda Sherman, Eric Anderson trying to battle it out. Jaden Wick's going to look to the inside and try and make the move around the 88, but Amanda's determined to battle for all she's got. She's going to hold on to that position at the moment. Tom Richter further back, making up a spot or two. Gotta try and use those new tires to his advantage as he runs in P10 at the moment. Most of the drivers up here have single-filed their way out, as it looks like the closest battle remains the 88 and the 02. Off of turn 4 we go. Jaden Wicks gets into the wall ever so slightly. See if anyone can try and form a run right here as we work 11 laps to go. Jaden Wicks to the inside with a good run on Amanda. Not able to take it down the backstretch. Tom to the inside of Ed and through turns 3 and 4. Ed Jurgen's going to keep it posted on the outside, gets into the wall. That's going to give the advantage to Tom Richter, who gets up into P9 as we run back up front. Cody Gibson, Tanner Marr, Andrew Caldwell, 3-truck breakaway. Up at the front, these drivers who are on the older tires, they're holding on as everyone else might have run out of time. 10 laps remain. Amanda Sherman finally loses the spot to Jaden Wicks in the 02 and tries to fight back, almost gets into the back of him. She might lose a spot to Tom Richter. Tom's going to get a good run right here down the backstretch. Get a push from Ed Jurgen. Down into turns 3 and 4 we go. Tom Richter in the 34 is going to get that pass done. Yes, indeed. That's up to P7 for Tom Richter. Back up front, Tanner Marr in P2. He's under pressure from Andrew Caldwell. Down the backstretch we go. Caldwell trying to close in, trying to take over P2 as Cody Gibson looks comfortably in control of this race. Off of turn 4 we go. It's going to be 7 laps to go at the line, and Caldwell is there. He's going to dive to the inside, tries to get the run on Tanner. Tanner on the outside. That's the preferred line for the Ford truck right there. He's going to have the run down the backstretch. He's going to hold on to it. All well and strong. Meanwhile, further back, Tom Richter is going to the inside of Jaden Wicks in the 02. This is a battle for the first driver on the freshest tires. Jaden Wicks in P7 or in P6. and Tom wants that spot. He's not going to get there on that occasion. And we return our focus to the battle for P2. Working our way through turns 3 and 4. Cody Gibson out front by almost a second. And across the line to make it 5 laps remaining. Caldwell trying to find a way around Marr for the second place position. Chris Mackey in the 17 quietly lurking just behind, ready to pick up any pieces that might fall his way. Through turns 3 and 4 we go. Caldwell lining up Marr for another shot down the front stretch. He had a fantastic 3 and 4, but he can't get there. Meanwhile, the 34 truck to the inside of the 0-2 once again. Richter, Wicks going after it down the backstretch, and Jaden Wicks has a fantastic line off of the corner. Tom is going to get his elbows out. He's going to push Jaden Wicks up the corner just a little bit, and off of turn 4 we go. Jaden Wicks cannot keep it there, and back up to the battle for P2 we go, with Andrew Caldwell to the inside of Tanner Marr. Is Tanner Marr going to concede the spot? He can't hold on, and now Andrew Caldwell up to P2. Tanner Marr tries to fight back. He can't quite get there. Can the 4 truck, and around turn 4 we go. It's going to be 2 laps to go at the line for Cody Gibson in first place. Chris Mackey is not in the clear yet. Here comes Eric Anderson. Here comes Tom Richter. Down the backstretch, the battle for the rest of the top 5 not yet over, as Chris Mackey holds on to 4th, but 5th might go Tom Richter's direction. White flag is in the air for our race leader, Cody Gibson, who we'll jump up to in just a moment. Into turn 1 we go. Tom Richter in the 34. And Eric Anderson in the 43. They are scrapping it out, but Tom Richter's going to get the advantage down the backstretch. And through 3 and 4 for the final time, Cody Gibson, driver of the Flamin' Hot Cheetos #1, is going to win in Dover. All of our other drivers make their way across the line in an intense battle to the finish. Great run from these drivers on their differing tire strategies. Tom Richter in the 34 makes his way all the way up to P5 in the end. Eric Anderson 6th, Jaden Wicks 7th. Chris Mackey with a fantastic 4th place run. But all eyes are on Cody Gibson, driver of the #1, for getting the job done tonight in Dover. All right, we've got our 3rd place finisher, driver of the #4, Tanner Marr. Tanner, you won last week in Chicago, shot yourself up the power rankings. You came out in Dover, and you weren't feeling too confident in practice, but you told me that you liked this track, and here we are at the end of it. You are yet again on the podium, my friend. What do you have to say after that performance?
I don't know, Arie. I think this is like the 5th week in a row talking to you. I'm riding the high. I'll be honest. I love Dover. It's actually Dover, Iowa, my 2 favorite tracks, and wasn't super confident in practice. You came down there, you hollered at us and talked to us for a little bit, and we were actually playing checkers and other things, right? Just trying to get our mind off racing. But yeah, I wish I could have held on to P2 there. Andrew was quite a bit faster than me, so I figured just cut my losses, let him by, and maybe just kind of sneak through and take home a P3. And we got lucky. They fell in our lap again.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, things have been going your way, have been looking up, and we're getting ready to go to quite the combination of races, starting with Atlanta Super Speedway. Now, you do have a win on a drafting track, though it was more related to fuel than it was to drafting. So how are you feeling about next week at a drafting track, and then we kind of open it up and go to Kansas?
Oh, I'm super excited, Arie, for the next few races, but I'm really excited about Atlanta. I don't particularly love super speedway racing for points, but we went back and we were just looking at the team stats, how we finished, whatever. And super speedway racing, I have a ton of top five, like a great top five percentage. So somehow, some way, I always find a way to be there at the end. Knock on wood, right? Because the luck's been on my side lately. So the bad luck bug is due at any moment. So they'll probably strike next week at Atlanta. But man, oh man, I'm excited still to be sitting there talking to you. Excited for Cody to get the race win, and yeah, we're excited for New Atlanta.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a good run in third place yet again, Tanner. And I'll open up the floor to you to any thank you, shout outs, and all of the likes that you'd like to give.
I got to send a shout out to Cody, of course, Five Kings Motorsports, Chris Mackey, sorry, I just went blank, Larry Bell, Jason Raymond, coming out here racing with us. Another strong showing for the team. We like that. Got to thank Chop House Restoration for all your roofing needs around Georgia. Hit up Chop House Restoration on Facebook. He'll get you suited and booted. You got to thank RaceCPI.com, and of course, got to thank you. It was just you tonight, right? Normally I say you and Tom, but just you. You went solo tonight, and I'm excited to go back and watch it. I know you probably killed it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, Tanner, and good job again on a third place run. Send you back down there to celebrate with the team, and we can find our second place finisher, Andrew Caldwell, driver of the 46. Andrew, you had a very good run on speed tonight. You were there up towards the front, but you were very quiet, as you usually are up towards the front this evening. You had a lot of speed. You didn't get up there and dominate, but you were always kind of lurking there, and just kind of walk me through your race and you know, surviving all of the chaos to be there at the end.
Yeah, it got pretty wild there in stage one. You know, I got into it with the 48, so I still haven't seen a replay to see what really happened, but luckily I didn't get any damage out of it and was able to just kind of ride in the top five, let the others kind of go at it while I stayed back and kind of save some tire, and got lucky with some cautions. I just got by Gary there on the green flag run to stay on the lead lap and not have to go through the wave around and stuff, so a little luck there, but definitely held on late.
Absolutely. Well, you find yourself in a great points position at this point in the season, just knocking off these very solid, consistent finishes, keeping yourself up there and in the conversation. We're going to a couple of tracks coming up here that they're pretty different from one another, and I'm curious as to how you feel. We've got Atlanta Super Speedway. We're gonna get some drafting done. We're gonna go to Kansas, kind of more traditional, and then we've got Watkins Glen. So we got three very unique challenges ahead. Do you see any of those three as kind of a big opportunity for you to go up there and really compete for a win?
Definitely Atlanta next week. Just being in the draft and being able to move your car around wherever. Just gotta stay out of the wrecks there and survive. And Kansas, I don't really know. I run okay there if I don't burn the right front off, and finished third at Watkins Glen last season, so hopefully I still have the same speed going back.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a runner-up finish tonight, Andrew. I am going to open up the floor to you. Any shout-outs, thank yous, or anything like that you'd like to give out?
First off, I want to thank Leroy Koblenz for sponsoring us here tonight, and thank you up in the booth for broadcasting for us, so everyone can watch that on YouTube. And want to thank Mom, Dad, and my sister.
Absolutely. Well, we'll send you down to celebrate with the team. Congratulations again. That is our runner-up finisher, Andrew Caldwell, in the 46, and that, of course, brings us to the man of the hour, 3 times a winner this season in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Cody Gibson driving that flaming hot Cheetos truck. You won stage 1. You won stage 2. I'm even forgetting the pole. You won the pole. You won the race. You did just about everything you could do out here tonight. It just looked like you had something figured out that these other drivers didn't. I'm not going to ask you to divulge the secret, Cody, but just kind of walk me through your race and, keeping control of a race despite the amount of chaos that we witnessed tonight.
Well, it's basically all about keeping that right rear under the truck. I mean, I think I slid it one time, and you could feel it later on in the run. I mean, once that tire heated up, it just kept on slipping. But no, I mean, enter low, come off low.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That's the Dover special right there. That's at least what I like to tell people as well. And I tell you what, you and Greg Mitchell, you're firing up quite the battle, quite the head-to-head rivalry this season. You are now tied for the most wins on the season at 3 apiece as we round out the 8th race of the season. It's going to be quite a battle throughout the rest of it. We've got a very different combination of tracks coming up in the next 3 weeks, however. We go to Atlanta Super Speedway, got some drafting. We go to Kansas, more traditional, and then we've got Watkins Glen and a road course. So, out of the next 3 weeks, Cody, are you feeling particularly good about any one of them, particularly bad, or maybe the same about all of them?
Well, you could probably put Kansas on my potential win, because I like that track. It's next week, anybody could win. Road course, it'll be Greg.
That does tend to be the trend around here, but one of these days someone's gonna knock Greg off at a road course. Either way, congratulations on your win tonight, Cody. That was a fantastic performance in Dover to get your 3rd of the season, 4th overall, and I'll open up the floor to you. Any shout outs, thank yous, anything like that you want to give out?
I think tonight's sponsor was by Leroy, so I appreciate that, Leroy. Also my teammates, Five Kings. I mean, you've probably seen some of the restarts. We teamed up on them. I mean, that's what teammates are for. So I appreciate everything they do and helping me out and me helping them out. I mean, what can you say? Well, we got a 1-3, and where did Chris finish? 4th. So 1, 3, and 4. That's pretty good. Then, of course, Arie, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and I seen Tom was in here, and there was a lot of smack on Thunderstruck. He was going to win this thing.
Yeah, that sounds like Tom to me. Don't worry, I gave him a hard time up here in the booth, as I have to. I'm sure he'll get me back in Kansas, of course. And I just noticed, to add on to your Five Kings Motorsports kind of plug right there, you guys had 5 of the top 10 positions with Larry Bell and Jason Raymond 9th and 10th as well. So great run from your team. Good job to you guys. I'll let you go celebrate with all of them, and we'll see you next week in Atlanta. All right, there is our top 3, our podium finishers. Cody Gibson, the big winner tonight in Dover. And with that, we can officially turn our attention to next week, 1 week from today. First and foremost, Tom is going to be back up in the booth joining me, getting out of the truck after a fun little time right there, and getting ready to call next week's race. Next week should be great. Some drafting, some super speedway racing is always a good time, and after that, I'll be jumping behind the wheel once again to give it a go. So looking forward to it. Tonight was a great race. Shout out to Leroy Koblenz for sponsoring tonight's event in Dover. That's 8 races out of 23 completed here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Let's pull up our official race results, and let's see if we can't take a look at how everything played out right here. If the button wants to work in the first place, I suppose. Maybe, maybe not. Not that one. We'll get it figured out. Here we go. I found the button. Race winner. You know him. You love him. It's Cody Gibson, driver of the 1 for 5 Kings Motorsports. Coming home at P2, Andrew Caldwell. We spoke to driver of the 46, Tanner Marr. On a roll, on fire this season. Driver of the 4 brings us home in P3. Just outside of the podium is going to be Chris Mackey, driver of the 17. Rounding out the top 5 in his first start of the season, Tom Richter, the 34, my co-host. Just outside of the top 5 is Eric Anderson, driver of the 43, ahead of Jaden Wicks in 7th place. Ed Jurgen brings us home in 8th, Larry Bell in 9th, and Jason Raymond rounds out the top 10. Just outside of the top 10's Amanda Sherman in the 88, Andy Cork in P12, Greg Mitchell brings us home in P13, Nathan Dufton in P14, Rick Thompson 15th, Lee Campbell 16th, Dave Gainforth, and Fred Thompson 17th and 18th. In 19th, Jared Anderson. Leroy Koblenz rounds out the top 20, tonight's sponsor. And then we've got Matt Semple 21st, Gary Bowman 22nd, Dustin Ping Driver, the 81, brings us home in 23rd, Brad Holmes 24th, Philip Van Vliet rounds out the top 25, Carl Cantonis in 26th, Mike Sivers in 27th, Carter Lawson 28th, Dwayne Young in 29th, and Chris Letts, aka Jackie Brennan, in 30th, Brad Collins 31st, Theodore Todorov 32nd, and rounding out the field, Corey Sherman, Casey Tomlinson. There are our results, all 34 drivers tonight in race number 8 at the Dover Motor Speedway. And with that, I think I'm ready. For a lot of water. That solo broadcast for the first time was quite something. But I had fun. Hope you guys had fun. Make sure that you drop a like on this one. You subscribe. Make sure you don't miss out on the future races here on the Cyber Thunder Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network. We'll be live tomorrow night for the Friggity Racing League at Las Vegas. Should be a good time. And for the Cyber Thunder Racing League back in 1 week for Atlanta. I'll see you guys then.